From the German Institute for Economic Research, Ferdinand Fichtner joins us now. The banks have always been looked at with disdain by people, but after this, will people ever regain, be able to be confident in the banks again?
I think as long as banks are focusing on what their main task in the economy is, which is basically handing over money from one side of the economy to the other side of the economy, it shouldn't be a problem to gain confidence again. I think banks have an important role in the economy, and people actually know that, and they will trust in the banking system as long as banks actually do what they are expected to do and not do things like being involved in investment banking or in highly speculative activities, which are not necessarily important for the economy.
I suppose that's where the profits are, though.
Right, and that's exactly the problem. That's why banks ran into those areas in these fields of work, and that's why we are facing now those huge problems we are having in the banking system, and that's why confidence is, of course, lost.
Haven't authorities only scratched the surface here?
I think authorities have scratched the surface in terms of legislation, so they have started to bring in new legislation, but it's obviously far from permanent solutions. We're discussing now whether the banking system should be more constructed like a two-tier system, where we have a banking system, an investment banking system field of work and a retail banking field of work. So that's one discussion that's underway right now. But legislation in this area is clearly far from perfect.
And the banks themselves, would you say they're doing enough, winding back bonuses, also their appetites for risk-taking to win back confidence?
I don't really see that the banks are doing something on their own free will. I think they are forced by legislators to do so, but I don't think that the banking system itself, that there will be a self-healing process or something like that.
And the fines that they're being forced to cough up, are they a drop in the bucket?
I guess for the single bank it hurts, but if you compare it to the balance sheet of the banking system as a whole, it's just a drop in the bucket, yes.
What about the reputation of Germany as a place to invest? Deutsche Bank is a big German company.
Well, I guess it's more important what the reputation of German firms is as a place to invest. So if you want to invest in Daimler or Volkswagen or something like that, and I guess there the reputation of German firms is still very good. And then, of course, we have the German banking system as a mediator in this context, but I think they still play that role fairly well. So I guess we don't have an immediate risk for the German banking system to lose confidence as we have it in other countries of the euro area, for example.
Just briefly taking us back to the role of banks in the financial system, something you brought up. If we take a look at how involved they are in handing out credit across the Eurozone, you'll see that Spain's really fallen out popularity-wise, Portugal as well, whereas there's more stability here in Germany as far as businesses getting their hands on money. But isn't it now that firms in, say, Spain and Portugal, that they really need the help of the banks? The banks have been getting help. They've been bailed out.
Well, but not sufficiently, I guess. I mean, the banks have problems themselves in the crisis countries. They have problems to get money, which they could forward to the firms. So this is basically a reflection we're seeing now, that if the banks don't have the money because the interbank market is basically broken down, because they don't get money from other banks, with the notable exception of the central bank, they have a problem themselves. And then it's difficult to say whether it's a problem in the banking system or whether it's a demand-side problem or a supply-side problem, if you like, whether it's a lack of supply of credit in the banking system or a lack of demand for credit, because that's, of course, the other side, the flip side of the coin, if you like, because the firms also, they don't really ask for money because they don't really know what to do with it, given that demand perspectives from the view of the firms are very bad right now in the crisis countries, at least.
Which in turn is hard for growth. Ferdinand Fichtner, thank you very much for coming in.